Hello everyone, my name is XFox1 and welcome back to some more Dragon Age Origins. In the last part, we had finally completed a little bit of a DLC mission. We helped Levi, not necessarily recover his ancestral pride, but we helped him uncover secrets of what happened with one of his great-grandmothers, I believe. Turns out that she and a League of Grey Wardens rebelled against a tyrant king, and she allowed a evil mage called Avernus, I believe. Yes, Avernus to practice he pretty much did blood magic rituals that summoned demons, and yeah, it was just bad. It got bad. It went from bad to worse. We encountered her disheveled, decaying corpse that was possessed by a demon, and we killed it immediately. Then we found Avernus, and even though we wanted to kill him, we was like, hey, listen, you know, you gotta do what's right, close up the circles, you know, pretty much close the veil, which the veil is the spirit world, and it is able to be pierced, and they can come into the physical world. And yeah, we pretty much, you know, did all that. But enough with me rambling on about what happened in the previous episode. Let's go on to today's episode. We still gotta get the dwarves as our allies, so I think we should start that today.
Changed your mind yet? Changed your mind yet? Are you willing to speak seriously?
Of your bosom? As you wish. As you wish.
No, no. I do not my bosom. Speak of my bosom.
It is a marvelous bosom. I've seen women half your age who have not held up half so well. Perhaps it is a magical bosom?
Stop talking about my bosom.
But I thought you wished to speak seriously.
I do. I thought, however foolishly, that you might be willing to speak of your past.
We could do that. There have been many bosoms in my past, though only few as fine as yours.
I'm ending this conversation.
I love the dialogue between Zephyr and Wynn.
King Loghain will not suffer the delay of his appointed messenger.
Vieta, this land is held in trust for the sovereign dwarven kings. I cannot allow entry at this time.
King Loghain demands the allegiance of the Desher, or lords, or whatever you call them in your assembly. I am his appointed messenger.
I don't care if you're the king's wiper. Orzammar will have none but its own until our throne is settled.
Why have your people retreated like this?
They hide because they are dwarves.
I would challenge any race to fare as well. Our king is dead. Andrew can return to the stone not 3 weeks ago. The assembly has gone through a dozen votes without agreeing on a successor. If it is not settled soon, we risk a civil war.
I am a Grey Warden. This treaty obligates Orzammar to aid me.
Wardens killed King Cailan and nearly doomed Ferelden. They're sworn enemies of King Loghain.
Well, that is the royal seal. That means only the assembly is authorized to address it. Grey Warden, you may pass.
You're letting in a traitor? A foreigner? And a foreigner? In the name of King Loghain, I demand that you execute this stain on the honor of Ferelden.
Run to your false king. The dwarves will not hear him today.
You'll hear of this. King Loghain will see you quartered.
You are free to enter Orzammar, Grey Warden. I don't know what help you will find.
Trust follow, Ward. Your arrival is a mixed blessing. Fair journeys, Warden.
Oh, I cut off some of his dialogue. I'm sorry.
These must be the statues of the dwarven paragons.
Paragon Orton.
Now that's a thing of beauty, daughter. If you work hard like Bronca, all Orzammar will know your name.
Mother, I don't want to be like her.
Don't say that.
Don't say that.
Not to me, not to anyone. Get back to the forge. Get back to the forge. I want to see more details.
Yes, Mother. Yes, Mother.
Yeah, the dwarves have a caste system. You have the upper caste, which is your nobility, the royalty, all that good stuff. You have the common caste, which is your like artisans, tradesmen, and all that stuff. And then you have your the quote-unquote casteless, which are branded dwarves, who have facial markings or certain tattoos that kind of like signal them as casteless. In fact, you can actually play as a noble or casteless dwarf in Dragon Age. It's one of the potential backstories. Of course, we did the Dalish elf origin, so we did not see that.
You have not asked me about my conscience for some time, my darling Wynn.
That is correct. And I am not your darling.
So once again, I am rejected, just as I am by the cruel fates. They are harsh mistresses to the elves.
Saffron, I am old enough to be your grandmother.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
And what would you do with me if you had me? This is a game you play. Nothing more.
You are a cynical woman, Wynn. Cynical and powerful. It drives me mad with desire.
I think Wynn is like...
I'm going to walk away now.
Oh god, I love their banter. It's so funny. And the key to the city. Alright, I think we got all the codexes that we could get out here. And yeah. Alright, to the commons.
It is the assembly who makes a king and a king who nominates his successor. None of it is carried in the blood.
As now, someone tries using the assembly to pull a coup.
Who's to say what my father said in his final hours, when the usurper Harrowmont was the only one by his side?
I'll have you thrown in prison.
You've bitten off more than you can chew.
Separate these dashers in the Diamond Quarter. I will not have Bhelen incite a riot.
Not speak that way about the man who should be king!
Jesus Christ. Yep, that just happened.
I won't have fighting in the common, especially in front of outsiders. That son of a fool, I'll have him in the Legion. Vieta, surfacer. To let you walk the commons, but keep your place. Warden or not, I want order.
The Blight is coming, and I need Orzammar's assistance.
Surface problems. Well, we have no king to hear you. You can join the shouting at the assembly in the Diamond Quarter if you want. Bunch of Desher lords bickering over sand. Bhelen, Harrowmont. Is one so different? No paragons here.
Paragons?
Surfacers appoint no paragons? Truly, you're lost in all that sky. They are the best of us, declared living ancestors. If you must be our warden, at least know us. Go to the Shaper of Memories in the Shaperate, the true bright spot in the Diamond Quarter.
It sounds like Bhelen and Harrowmont are the ones to talk to.
They've caged themselves for fear of each other. As you've seen, keeping order down among us working people is dodgy. No place for a proper lord. Bhelen speaks through Artag Gavorn in the Assembly. Lord Harrowmont speaks through Dulin Ferender from his estate.
Can a city function like this?
See, that's why I don't want you surfacers seeing our worst. You'll think that's all we are. The market is thin, but busy, and the tavern never closes. Bad blood is usually kept to the proving. Should toss Bhelen and Harrowmont in there. Sort this all out in a hurry.
I should
Yes,
get
you
going.
should.
Alright. So here we have to pick the successor for Dragon Age. Or not for Dragon Age, but for Orzammar. Ooh, armors. At least we got something new. Let's see. It looks like we got quests.
Ancestors guard my son, for he is lost in darkness. Mothers keep him safe, for you. I'm sorry. Did you have an offering for the ancestors? Although, I can't imagine your ancestors reside in the stone.
What were you
My
praying
name is
for?
Hilda, widow of Turok of the Smith caste. I pray here every day for my son, Ruck. I only wish I knew whether I should be asking for his safe return or for the ancestors to accept his soul.
A safe return? Your son is
It
missing?
was 5 years ago. He was only a youngster. He joined a Deep Roads excursion, the only smith to go with the warriors to repair their arms. He was so proud, but he got separated somehow. When they came home, he wasn't with them.
Did anyone go after him?
Captains don't want to lose anyone searching for stray men. Too many were taken by dark spawn that way.
We shouldn't abandon him. I'll look for him if you want.
How? There is no way except to brave the deep roads yourself.
I'm a Grey Warden. That's what we do.
Warden? So you could do it. Only wardens face the deep roads without a company backing them. Oh, thank you. The ancestors finally heed my prayers.
Take heart, good widow Filda. We'll do our best.
Don't get your hopes up. We could search the deep roads for decades with no sight of the boy.
Please, find me as soon as you return.
You look like another trader.
Outsiders? Good. Get some outside gold in here. Calm people down. Make them think we should open the gates for good. The more cracks in the old way, the better. That's what Bhelen stands for.
Your allegiance to this Bhelen is clear. Why?
Not your business, but I see where the gold is. He's the traditional pick, yet he wants a new way, whether some like it or not.
Well, I don't actually know this, so I shouldn't say that. Let me see what you have
I'll
in
take
store.
your gold. You're good for that.
And I think there was another trader.
Excuse me, do you have a moment?
Sure. Dagna.
You look like you're not from around here.
Yes, you could say
wonderful.
that.
I've been trying forever to find someone who really knows the surface world. I don't suppose you've heard of something called the Circle?
My companion here is the senior enchanter of the circle.
Oh, my lady, it's an honor. I've never met an actual mage. Is it true you can manipulate nature's forces with your mind? Like you were born with lyrium in your veins?
Don't let the glamour fool you, child. Wielding magic is a dangerous occupation and a great responsibility.
We'd be happy to answer any questions.
I've been trying to reach someone there for years. I've sent missives with every caravan, but I never get a reply. I want to know if they would accept me for study.
Why wouldn't
No
they?
dwarf has ever studied at the Circle of Magi. I guess you never read First Enchanter Caitlin's treatise concerning dwarfs and the non-heritability of magic. He tested dwarfs from 20 bloodlines and found they couldn't perform any level of spell casting, regardless of lyrium exposure or time on the surface. The Circle speculates that lyrium in the stone shields us from spiritual influences, and over time made us immune to them.
Wow, you can really just be mean. So, what do you want with the...
I want to go to the Circle to study. I don't want to do magic. No dwarf can cast spells, but I don't see why I shouldn't study it. It would be a valuable exchange. Orzammar would learn of one of the great natural forces of the surface. And the Circle gains direct access to our knowledge of lyrium smithing.
I can bring the Circle your request.
That would be wonderful. My name is Dagna, daughter of Janar of the Smithcast. Tell them I've already begun reading the Tevinter Imperiums for Tikum Kadab, and it's just fascinating. Did you know the Imperial Magister Lords once had genealogies of every human family known to produce a mage child? Oh, I'll go pack my bags right now. I'll be waiting by my father's shop.
Aw, she's adorable. Oh, we'll get to that when we can.
Greetings, and welcome to Garen Garrison's luxury goods shop. Wow, there are a lot of you. And I've never seen one of those before. The things they come up with. What was I saying?
Have a look at my shop, I hope?
Yeah, I have some lovely things here. Lyrium enhanced, of course.
Yay, I love it.
I knew I should have stuck to common nugs. I've gone and lost them too. I'll never find them the way they skitter. No way I'm going back to that supplier in Dust Town. Guess I'm shutting it down.
If I see any nugs, I'll send them
Good
your
on
way.
you, stranger. Only need one to turn this around.
Well, what do you know? A nug. We're just kind of collecting quests here and there and everywhere. Let's see. We have another...
Singing, I hear.
I mean, we are in the city of Dwarves, Wynn. And we're next to a tavern, so yes, that's probably drunken... And another one. Brother Burkle.
Maker's blessing on you, sister.
I didn't think dwarves believed in the magic.
I'm Brother Burkle of the Red Cliff Chantry, returned to my ancestors' land to spread the chant of light. I'm petitioning to open a chantry in Orzammar.
Don't dwarves worship their ancestors or something?
There is resistance. It's obvious the world wasn't created by the mortal souls who dwelt within it. Yet the dwarves of Orzammar persist in worshipping their own forefathers.
Okay, with whose permission do you need to open
The
the
Shaper
chantry?
it controls changes in Orzammar's structure and society. I need the Shaper of Memory's permission to open a prayer meeting.
Do you want me to talk to him for you?
Oh, I'd hoped you'd say that. I can see the Maker's hand on your shoulder, guiding you always. Please, let me know as soon as you've heard anything.
Okay. Well, we need to get to the Diamond Quarter, which is across the bridge. Now, there are two factions that you're going to, or there are two factions that you can side with in,
Alistair,
this Orzammar
what's
thing.
This?
It's a sock?
It's a filthy sock. How did it find its way to my bedroll?
Maybe it likes you. Socks are sneaky like that. Anyway, it's not mine.
It has your name stitched on it.
Oh, part of Templar training back at the Chantry. The men were always getting their socks mixed up. Anyway, sorry about that. I'll take it from you right now. One of my socks is feeling a little damp anyway. A change would be nice.
You're going to put it on? It's filthy.
And dry. We're not exactly traveling in the lap of luxury here.
What hideous habits you've picked up.
Alistair, I don't know if you noticed, but we're kind of, you know... could you imagine the heat, by the way, with all this? It's got to be like 1,000 degrees down here. Unfortunately, we are going for Prince Bhelen, only because he is technically lesser of the two evils, and his change for Orzammar would actually be a lot better, if you can believe that. But I just want the record to show that he is a very scummy dude, and I do not like him. I'm doing this out of you know, the pretext of getting the best ending for each of the provinces.
Warden, welcome. It is always a blessing for Orzammar to host your order. I am Vartak Devorn, top advisor to our good Prince Bhelen. What news do you bring?
This treaty obliges Orzammar to send troops to the surface.
Ah, ancient documents indeed. These were signed in the reign of Eithnar Bimo, Paragon and King. That was 16 generations ago. Now the difficulty is that the treaty only compels our king, and we are sadly lacking one of those right now.
Is there some way I can...
My prince is the rightful king, but a disappointing number of lords back the upstart Harrowmont for the throne. If you show your support for Prince Bhelen, he might be able to assist with your requests.
What do I need to do?
Harrowmont promised the same portion of his estate to two different Deshers, Lady Dace and Lord Helmy. Harrowmont can't possibly grant it to both of them, but they won't find out until after the vote is cast. I have copies of the promissory notes Harrowmont gave each of them. Once they see those, they should both reconsider their votes.
Where did you get the promissory notes?
That's not important. If they ask, say you found them while searching the Shaper's libraries for your treaty.
Uh-huh. You see what I mean? It just feels scummy. I'll find Lady Dace and Lord Helmy right
Lady
now.
Dace doesn't leave the quarter much. But Lord Helmy's adventurous, likes to spend his time at tapsters in the Commons. Remember, don't tell them you got these papers from me. You learned of them and drew your own conclusions.
You see what I mean? Just scummy. It just feels scummy.
Grey Warden here. I am doing for Render, Lord Harrowmont, to England's own choice as successor. Or describing the service of life. It is shameful you're not in a better position to help.
Uh-huh. I have treaties obligating Orzammar to aid us.
And the terrible risk for the surface. But even the whirlwind tomorrow, Lord Harrowmont cannot ignore Bhelen today. He cannot afford to trust anyone with unproven loyalties.
How can I prove I'm not working with
That's a
Bhelen?
generous offer. If you mean it, you might attend the proving day. The Deshers take it very seriously. And unfortunately, Bhelen found some way to blackmail or intimidate House Harrowmont's best fighters into stepping down.
So you like incentive provings in Harrowmont's
It will certainly make your loyalties loud and clear.
And this is to be our case. One cannot keep his own men from running like frightened children.
Lord Harrowmont does not use threats or intimidation to motivate his men. He leads by example.
Ah, I see. So it's his example that follows the cower from this Prince Bhelen.
How dare you slander Lord Harrowmont?
Why should we ally ourselves with someone too scared to gun us an audience?
I see what you mean. Well, he's an assassin,
I
but...
suppose not everyone can face death as undaunted as an demon. It's true.
Then you agree fight Harrowmont's name. Bhelen would never work with anyone who humiliated him in that way. Harrowmont would have no fear of dealing with you then.
Sure, why not? I mean, I'll say this. I already told you what I'm going for. I'm just letting the guess for everyone. I'll enter the provings and see why you guys are true.
The arena is located off the comms. Talk to the crew master and tell me every Lord Harrowmont's roster. The key fighters we lost were Bidone and Faisal. You can look in the fighters' preparation chambers behind the ring. And be sure before the fights begin, after the first bout, no one may change the roster. If you need to find me again, I'm waiting at Tapster's Tavern off the comms. There is no better place to hear gossip. Perhaps you word your victory.
So yeah, we're kind of in a bit of a three-way, you know, fight right now.
News of the hour. Does Lord Harrowmont think that Orzammar can hold off the dwarves forever?
Ah, Lady Dace.
What do you want? Ah, I suppose you're the Grey Warden everyone's talking about.
Yes, I am
It's fascinating the surface has an entire order dedicated to fighting darkspawn. Down here, that's just what fighting means. But I'm sure it's more difficult on the surface. It must be much harder to find them.
Are you Lady
I
Dace?
am. And what business would you have with me?
You might want to look at these
Well,
papers.
this isn't exactly a surface broadsheet. Where did you get these? Never mind. It is true enough, but there's nothing I can do about it. This deal was made on behalf of our entire house. Only my father can revoke it.
Where is he? I'll bring these to him.
He is leading a deep roads expedition, trying to secure an ancient Tig. It's unlikely he'll be back before the election, but perhaps this vote is important enough for you to brave the tunnels to tell him? The Dace family would be in your debt.
I have to go into the things. Okay. I'll go tell him.
He was searching an old Idukan site. He left me with this map, in case his expedition never returned. I'll give you a pass as well. Usually, no one is allowed past the front lines. Good luck.
Oh, I can just do that now? Well, we'll get back to that.
Raise your voice in support of Lord Harrowmont, the one true king of Orzammar and our future savior!
It'll be 2 years tomorrow. By all the holy sodding ancestors, how can you people just ignore that?
Branka didn't go alone, Ogren. She took the whole house, everybody but you. So just get over to Tapster's and drown yourself already. You know as well as I do that's how this always ends.
You think I'm afraid of some cub warrior who's barely off the teat? Ha! I'll...
You lift a weapon or attack a single citizen in Orzammar, and you're stripped of your caste and exiled. Even you can't have forgotten that. Get out of here before I call a guardsman.
Huh. What was that about?
Can you believe it? Ogren's barely even warrior caste anymore, and he just clomps in here like he's entitled.
Who is Ogren?
Ogren's a drunken wretch. He comes up here 2-3 times a week, hounding people to lead some suicidal rescue mission after Branka. Gets quite violent about it. I'd be scared if they hadn't practically gelded him after he killed young Lord Mino.
What do you mean, gelded him?
He killed Lord Mino's youngest son in a duel to first blood. It was a huge scandal. Ogren should have been executed, but he'd won honors in the deep roads. Instead, they stripped him of all weapons and forbid him from engaging in fights within city limits. If he breaks the decree, he'll be exiled.
And who's
The
Branka?
only paragon in the last 4 generations. Quite an honor for a girl from the Smith caste.
And how did she become a...
She invented a smokeless fuel that let the Smith caste increase their output by nearly 1/3. Deaths from the Black Lung also dropped. The Assembly said she had the favor of the ancestors and declared her a paragon. They moved Branka, Ogren, and all their relatives to the noble caste and founded a new house in her name.
Branka was married to that drunk?
Well, before she was a paragon, she was just a smith, and Ogren was one of the best warriors of his generation.
And why did Branka go into the deep
Chasing
roads?
some old treasure. She was quite secretive. Outright rude, really. She said she never asked to found a house, that she didn't care about politics, and that we were too self-absorbed to defeat the Darkspawn. She actually threatened anyone who said they'd come after her.
Right, so I should get going
If you see
now.
any guardsmen, tell them Ogren was at it again.
Alright, that appears to be all the time that we have right now. We've certainly collected a lot of quests, and everything's pointing us to go into the deep roads, well, to do a lot of things. We also got to prove to Prince Bhelen that we are definitely on his side, which, again, I'm not too happy about it, but for ending's sake, it's one of the better endings for Orzammar. So you just gotta take the good with the bad. Anyway, my name is XFox1. You guys have been great. I'll catch you in the next part. Goodbye, lovelies.